What's up? My name is Devin, also go by Infinite or Proud by Infinite. Today we are going to be breaking down this beat that I made. It is very groovy, very Blxst, bino, Larry June-esque, I would say. Maybe even a little Dolla sprinkled in there. But I just really like this beat. I made it from scratch, and I just wanted to break it down for y'all in case y'all wanted to do some kind of groovy and wavy like this. You know what I mean? So first thing that we did is that we laid down this piano right here. This is just like an electric keyboard. Now this is really simple. All it is just 6 notes together played at one time in the F minor scale. And then what I did after that is I just took the same exact chord and then just shortened it and played it 2 times just so we get that little, kind of just sounds like someone's actually playing the keys and everything like that. Now this is the main reason why it's simple. This chord right here is literally this chord right here transposed up. So if you just go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's literally the same chord. And then I just put in these 2 notes right here just so it kind of goes into the next bar a little bit better. Then I took it and I layered it with this synth and Triton. Now it's basically like a keyboard with like that little synth texture on top, but it blended in really well with the electric piano that I already had. So this is them together. That's just a little ear candy just to make it sound kind of cool and everything like that. Then after that, what I did was I added in this lead from Purity. This is just a regular simple sine. All I did was just move the attack up a little bit because usually it has like a click right when you do it, right when you play it. So I moved that attack up a little bit just so you don't get that click. It just sounds like, it sounds a little bit more smooth. And then this is the pattern. Now, what's really, really important for these lead melodies that you do for West Coast beats is that you have to make sure that they're overlapping each other like this. Because when they're overlapping each other like this, they kind of get that smooth gliding effect. So when it goes like, it just transitions so much better as in comparison to something like this. If we were to like actually make it start and stop at the same time. I mean, it just sounds way more smooth when it actually overlaps. And that's one of the biggest tricks. And also using like these little grace notes right here and making sure everything isn't completely on the grid makes 100 times better difference. Then after that, I just got these strings right here. It's just a simple like little top melody. I was just following the top notes of the actual chord progression for the most part. And then I just took it and I copied it down a whole octave. That's just to make it sound a little bit more full, give it a little bit more depth, everything like that, a little bit more texture. Boom, just like that. And then I layered it with these strings right here. Once again, just for texture and everything like that. And then I got this little synth up in Poison. And then I just did this little melody right here. And the sound naturally comes with that much delay on it and everything like that. I don't even think I put any effects on it, to be honest. But here's the melody all together. All right, and then since we're kind of going with this like retro sound, I ended up doing a bass. So I got this blast bass that is in Exclusive's drum kit, the volume 2. And I just did this little pattern right here. So a really kind of like off the wall, like interesting, not traditional kind of groove. Um, One thing that I really like doing with my basses is I like to create some type of space or like call and response. So I think the best example of it is this section right here. Whenever I end off the bar, I try to do like some type of cool bouncy pattern. You know what I mean? So boom. You know what I mean? So you see how like there's this huge gap right here where it's like basically nothing, like nothing going on. It's just going bump, 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 bump. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to always be like super, like have a whole bunch of different notes and going blah 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 all the time. Sometimes like less is more. So after that we got the kicks, and it's basically following the same pattern. I just took out some of the kicks just so the bass sounds a little bit more bouncy. See, nothing too crazy. It's basically the same pattern as the bass, but with just a couple of the notes taken out, just so it really accentuates like certain hits with the bass. It just makes everything way more bouncy when you kind of have both of them playing in between each other. Like now we got these hi-hats right here. It's just a regular two-step, but what I did is I turned up the shift knob just so they're kind of like playing off the grid a little bit. Makes it sound more human, more bouncy, and it definitely helps with that retro kind of vibe. And then also shout out Foley. He has a new drum kit that came out, and this hi-hat came from that kit. Worked perfectly for what I needed. So I'm actually going to go into the mixing for this one real quick, just because this is my regular hi-hat sauce chain from my from my mixer preset. So it's basically just an EQ, reverb, delay, a little bit of a flanger, and then I put a little bit of halftime on it. Then that's what makes my hi-hat sound like this. As opposed to it sounding like this normally. I mean, see how much, do you see how much that really like sauces it up? It creates so much more depth to the actual hi-hat pattern. And after that, we got the little claps that are in here. I made sure to kind of go with like some more retro sounding ones that kind of mix with new school, because that's kind of like the goal I was going for, like new school meets old school and everything like that. So the old school ones, they usually had like a lot of reverb on their claps. So that's why I used that one right there. And then this one, our newer school ones don't really have that much reverb like that. Our claps tend to be a little bit more dry, so I layered it with this just so it kind of hits harder. That. Got a little open hat right here. I usually like putting a little bit of delay on it. I usually go with the built-in delay that is in FL Studio. So if you like open a sound, it'll normally go right here. I go to the little wrench right here, turn up this right here. That's what controls the echo. And then this is the timing of the echo or delay, whichever you want to call it. And then I just got like a little bit of percussion and sound effects and another extra open hat. This is all just to make it sound a little bit more unique, add a little bit extra bounce, a little bit of spice, give it some character, you feel me? So I think this is a really good example of what to do with your percussion, because I know it's like a lot of people just kind of throw in percussion just to throw it in there because they feel like, oh, it's West Coast music, you're supposed to put in percussion. But what you really need to do is you need to make sure that they're rolling off of each other. They're all working in conjunction with each other. So think of it like this. I think this part right here is like the best way to put it. Like the shaker right here into the clav into the ding. See how they all kind of work together, like kind of bounce together. Like if you take out one part, it doesn't really sound the same anymore. You know what I mean? Like that clav adds so much more extra bounce. And then if you take out the shaker, it takes out the bounce as well. So like they all work together to make sure that you get that bounce. You know what I mean? So when you're putting in percussion, make sure you have a purpose to put it in there, not to just really just put in random things just to put them in there. You want to really make sure that they're all working together with each other. Now, last but definitely not least, I added in a couple riser effects, just so when you go into the hook or you go out of the hook, it just kind of makes the transition a little bit better. Boom. Just a regular riser with like some delay and reverb on it. Same with that one. And I genuinely think it always makes drops better when you have a little riser. So let's play without it real quick. Oh, actually, let's take out the reverb clap too, because that kind of counts. It's kind of like serving as a riser as well. So let's take out the clap as well. Now that, in comparison to this, it just makes that transition so much more bigger and like much more epic and everything like that. It's just significantly better. And then I like doing a riser for going into the hook, into the verse, just because I do this little thing with my formatting where like I take up all the drums for like the first 3 bars, just because I feel like it makes that transition really cool. I just feel like the contrast is really dope. So I use the riser to accentuate that contrast. Boom, that's the other riser. And with that being said, that concludes another video. This is my breakdown of like one of my most favorite like retro, wavy, Larry June, Bino, Blxst kind of beats. You feel me? So with that being said, if you like the video, hit the like. If you want to comment, throw a comment. If you want to sub, hit the sub. You feel me? My name is Devin. I'll go by Infinite, powered by Infinite. Peace out.